y'all, it's Savannah and this is Savannah Says. So before I begin, I just want to preface this by saying if you see multiple videos of me and I'm wearing the same clothes, which I know you have because I've already posted a couple, I'm someone who finds it very hard to be organized. I struggle with keeping myself on task with things. So I just sit down and do a bunch of videos at the same time because for me that's easier than doing one every day. So don't be alarmed. I changed my clothes. I own lots of clothes. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know someone's gonna be like, does she wear anything different? I do. I just sit down for large periods of time and do multiple videos. So now that that disclaimer is out of the way, I would like to talk about a book that I have recently read. It's called Pestilence by Thalassa, and it is the first book in what I think is a series called The Four Horsemen, which is a post-apocalyptic / currently apocalyptic romance series about the four horsemen of the apocalypse. I know what you're thinking, and you're probably thinking, how is she reading this? Why is she reading this? I don't know why I read it. I see the cover a lot on the internet and I was like, hey, all of these people like it, maybe I'll like it too. My sister read it, and usually me and my sister like the same thing, so I gave it a chance, and it was interesting. It was very interesting. So the premise of this book, I assume it's the premise of the whole series, but for this book in particular, you are in present day. They don't ever say what year it is, but you are in present day. And one day the four horsemen of the apocalypse show up and they pretty much get rid of technology when they show up. So planes are falling out of the sky, people are dying, electricity goes out, the world's in chaos. They're here for a little bit of time and then they disappear. So when the story starts off, we are post apocalypse, 5 years, and they say it's post horseman. So the premise of this book basically is that you are following this girl named Sarah, who is a firefighter, and she is currently in her fire station with a couple of her coworkers, and they're watching the news and they're keeping track of the first horseman, Pestilence, because he is the only one who was returned after they all left. He came back and he basically travels throughout the country / world and he spreads the plague.
What did she say?
They call it the Messianic plague, and what that means is that it's basically COVID plus, which already is not a good look. So basically you can catch this plague just because he's in your town. He spreads it. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to see anyone. You literally just get sick and you die. And so he's been traveling through Canada, which is where the story takes place. According to all the charts and the way the scientists or whatever have been graphing his movements, he is set to come through the town that Sarah is currently in. So her and her coworkers are the last people here. They sent their families away and they have decided to draw straws, and then whoever draws the short straw is the person who has to try to kill Pestilence. So of course Sarah is the one who tries to kill him. So literally the moment her coworkers leave her there to die, essentially, Pestilence shows up and she shoots him and tries to kill him, but he cannot die because obviously he's a horseman of the apocalypse, which if you don't know is the book of Revelations in the Bible, the end times. They're like angels, essentially, angels of death. So he can't die because he's a celestial being.
Duh.
But she tries to kill him and he doesn't die, and it looks like he dies because he basically can get injured, but he regenerates. He can't die, but he can be injured and then he heals himself. So it seems like he's dead. He's begging for mercy. And she's like, I can't, I feel bad about it, but I can't give you mercy because you're literally killing off the human race. He comes back to life and then he captures her and basically he says, I'm not going to kill you because killing you is too easy. I'm going to make you suffer and keep you alive and take you with me on my journey to destroy the human race because humans are disgusting and you guys should all die. That's the premise of this book. It's really as insane as it sounds. The whole time I was reading it, I was kind of just like, why am I reading this? They basically go from town to town and they end up in California. They go across Canada, then down the West Coast. They end up in California. And just the whole plot of this book is just them traveling, and Sarah is attracted to him because he's hot, because that's a good enough reason to be attracted to someone. And she's attracted to him because he's hot, and he's kind of not really into her because she's human and he hates humans. And he's literally been sent here to kill them. But along the way, he ends up liking Sarah. And somehow that translates into Sarah helping him see the good in humankind and helping him see mercy. And then her seeing him for who he really is, which is someone who is just tasked with this job of killing human beings, even though he doesn't like killing people. He just has to do it because that is his job as this horseman. Like, he doesn't really have an option. Like, that's, God told him to do this, so he has to do it. And so it's really hard to know, like, is this a book that's a commentary on Abrahamic religions, or is this a book that's a commentary on Stockholm syndrome? Because technically she's a captive and she's in love with him, right? I don't know. Like, it was hard for me to distinguish what was Miss Thalassa trying to say when she wrote this book, right? They end up in love, okay? They end up in love, and it's basically kind of like he loves her, but he does, like, that doesn't make him want to stop killing humans because that's his job. And then eventually they come to a head because humans know that she's traveling with him, because it's been all over the news, like, hey, this girl's been traveling with Pestilence. She's not getting sick. He's spreading the plague, but this human girl is not getting sick. So eventually it comes to a head, and people try to kill them both because it's like, what's going on, sis? Like, why are you with him, you know? So people try to kill her, and then she gets so injured that he gets angry and he takes revenge, even more revenge on the human race, and basically wipes out like a whole country. A whole country he wipes out because he's mad that people tried to kill her. And so she's basically like, hey, like, I thought we were coming together. I thought we were understanding each other. I thought that you were finding grace in your heart to spare humans. I thought that you loved me, and because you loved me, you were willing to like change your ways. No, he's not willing to change his ways because he's a celestial being and it is his job to wipe out humans. Okay, so they split apart, and due to their splitting apart, he then sees the way, like, the error of his ways, and he's like, you know, my job is done. I've done my task. I've killed who I need to kill, which is not the whole human race. He just stops killing people because he's in love with her, and they end up together. And spoiler, the next horseman appears after they get their happy ever after. The next horseman appears, and the next horseman is war. So all of that to say, like, I give this book 3 stars, and you know, I'm starting to think like maybe 3 stars means I don't like something, because the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the more I ask myself, why did I read it? I understand when you give a commentary on, like, you know, people should change, we should be better, we should show grace, we should understand what it's like from someone else's point of view, we should be able to like extend mercy to people. Like, I get that. I'm totally down with that. I'm down with being gracious. I'm down with spreading love, positivity, all of that. I'm cool with that. But to me, I don't think that I have enough grace in my spirit to extend to a horseman of the apocalypse who has been sent here to kill me. I can love a lot of things, but I think that I can't love that. And so I gave this 3 stars because I'm just not really seeing what possibly can happen to you that you end up in love with someone like that. You know, it doesn't really make sense to me. Like, I understand it's supposed to be like sexy or whatever, and it's supposed to be like taboo. Again, post-apocalyptic romance, which is not really post-apocalyptic because it's pretty currently apocalyptic. I'm just not really seeing like what scenario you could find yourself in that you're like, this is the person that I'm in love with and I want to be with this person. Yeah, you know, I'm just not understanding. And the world that we're living in is pretty currently apocalyptic, so I don't think I'm going to continue with the series because, like, Pestilence is one thing, and like, obviously we know what's going on with pandemics. So, you know, that's already strike 1. And then strike 2 is war. And if I couldn't understand how you're falling in love with Pestilence, I don't think I'm going to understand how you're going to fall in love with war. And then the 3rd book is called Famine, and the 4th book is called Death. I don't think it's for me, is what I'm saying. I don't think it's for me, but I wanted to get on here and share that just in case you think it's for you, just so you know what you're about to read. It was interesting. And I think that is why I got 3 stars. You know, it was interesting enough that I obviously read the whole thing. I didn't stop reading it, even though I questioned myself every time I turned the page. I just don't know if this author is for me. I don't know if she's for me. This is the 4th book I've read from her at this point, and every single one I'm like, did I like that? And I feel like if I have to ask myself if I liked it every time I read one of your books, I just probably don't like it, and I'm trying to force myself to like it. But I wanted to like it. The cover's pretty. The cover's beautiful. But the plot? At least this one had a plot. And you know, normally they don't have plots, but at least this one had a plot. I just didn't like it. So yeah, 3 stars, Pestilence. I probably won't read War. I downloaded it because I'm trash, but will I read it? TBD. That's all I have for now, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.